So hi Richard, Pittsburgh Modular, Superbooth 2017.
Yes.
You're going to talk about the double Helix which we saw at NAMM, but it's now shipping, right?
It's now shipping. It's actually starts shipping today. So we've been working on it for quite a while, and we're anxious to get it out in the world. This is one that we've been really excited about. It's a dual complex oscillator, sort of in the spirit of the Bugla 259 style oscillator, but we sort of took it in our own direction. We like the idea of there's a primary oscillator and then a secondary oscillator, but we thought that we could do something a little bit different with it. So we have a primary oscillator here, which is a fully featured oscillator with all the waveforms you would expect, plus the additional blade wave, which is our modulatable saw wave. You also have the pulse wave tied into that, frequency modulation as well. Then we have a secondary oscillator built in that has a sine, saw, and square frequency modulation. And the idea is that you could play in between those two to get some interesting timbres. We have a third oscillation source, the modulation, which is a built-in LFO. It's a free-running LFO that has a square and a sine wave. It also has a white noise source built in, and then a random. And the random is a sample and hold circuit internally based off the noise, so you can get some random out of it. The contour section here, this is wave shaping, so at the top you have a wave folder. This is normaled into the sine wave of the primary oscillator, but you can patch in any waveform you like. And then there's a secondary input as well, if you wanted to take the input of, say, the secondary oscillator. Something interesting like that. Because this is going through a wave folder, the two oscillators mix, but then they mix in a very chaotic way because of the wave folder. The output of the wave folder, which is this top section here, dumps into our second section, which is the dynamics section. This is a stripped down version of our dynamics impulse filter. So it's just low pass gate mode, and it's non-resonant. But what that allows us to do, I can open it up here. This is what waveform we have going on. We can close that up. And what we're doing right now is we're just hitting the impulse in with a gate, and that is triggering the dynamic impulse filter in low pass gate mode. We also have our dynamics response control if we want to tighten that up. We can make it nice and tight, or we can open it up. And you can hear it does have a very plucky, very organic sound. And that's based on the dynamics impulse filter circuit that we spent last year working on, which what it does is we've replaced the Vactrol, which is in a standard low pass gates, with a completely new analog circuit that emulates it, but allows you to then sort of dial in the Vactrolness of it by adjusting the length that the Vactrol would have allowed for.
So then you've got, along the bottom, is that like the modulation, like matrix sort of thing?
Yes, and this is really the best part of the module, because what it does is it gives you two modulation buses. You have bus A and bus B. Both of the buses are fronted by a VCA. So for instance, right now we have the timbres being modulated by bus B here. So we can dial that down, you can see it goes away, we can bring it back up. And this switch is set to B. We can switch it up, set it to A, and that's going to be tied to then the secondary oscillator. B is back down to B. And then you have individual inputs as well. So we have a timbre input, there's FM inputs, blade pulse wave, and the nice thing is you have bus A, bus B, and then a dedicated input that mix together. So you can get very complex modulation going.
So you could use, say, the LFO to modulate something that you're already modulating with one of the modulation buses, right?
Absolutely. So we could take...
Or any other kind of modulation.
Exactly. So we can put FM oscillator 1 here. It's now modulated with the secondary oscillator just by switching this into the A position. But we can also add directly to that, say, a random. So now we're mixing the random output with the secondary oscillator, and that's controlling the frequency modulation of oscillator A. And you can just switch things around. Different sounds.
Excellent. So you said it's shipping now, right?
It's shipping now.
And what will be the final price on that? Do you know in euros?
In euros, I don't know.
Okay,
to be fair,
US.
I can't remember what it is in dollars. But very fairly priced. And all that information is available on our website.
Excellent. Well, Richard, thank you very much.
Absolutely.